claim that gold was not a currency, I don't even know how you can defend that. Currency has two things: it's a store of value or it's a medium of exchange. You yourself have said that it's a store of value. It's a hard store of value. And it's pretty undeniable that it was used as a medium of exchange and therefore meets the definition of a currency. When it comes to the asset of Bitcoin, again, the premise that there are two worlds, right? The world we live in today is if you have dollars and you do nothing, you lose money. You're guaranteed to lose money. That's why you get out of the dollar, you get into investable assets, right? I think that's an economic act to conduct, and that's why people do it. To then condemn a system where when you actually go ahead and you buy the asset or you convert into that asset, you will actually accrue value, makes no sense to me. It's no different than what gold has done for hundreds or thousands of years. Why are there cultures around the world where they save their wealth in this hard store of value? It's the exact same thing. Now, they don't say, oh, we have gold, so we're not going to do any economic activity. Instead, what they say is, we want more gold, and therefore we are going to go do economic activity to get more gold. And so the same thing happens in a Bitcoin-denominated system. You don't just sit there because your purchasing power is going to be protected. You instead go and conduct economic activity so that you can get more of the Bitcoin, right? It's no different than, again, what has happened for centuries. And I think that
it is quite different because, again, what you're describing is a system in which the quantity is fixed. And so ultimately, there is no mechanism by 2140 in which there is an increase in the quantity of Bitcoin. And so any economic activity simply becomes a function of reorganizing the deck chairs on the Titanic, right? It does not have the capacity to create additional wealth. What you're describing is a system in which, very much like a game of Monopoly, the end game is to take from everybody else. That's not how an economic system works. That's the system you're promulgating. That you have not fully thought that through is not my fault.
That is exactly how the current system works.
That's not how the system works. No, that is not how the system works at all. There are plenty of mechanisms by which we can change the policy to encourage broader distribution of those dollars. We've done so in the past. We can increase taxes on the extremely wealthy. We can introduce a more progressive distribution system. We can encourage the separation of employment from the basic services that many Americans or others around the world require. Right? Those are choices that our policymakers can make. And by distracting ourselves with some fantasy around a deflationary currency that locks in a distribution that, again, looks very much like a Monopoly game where the objective is to take a finite share of wealth from other players, right? That's a mistake. And that's what I keep emphasizing.
The only thing I'll say is the claim that taxes somehow is a redistribution. The bottom 40% of Americans, 47%, whatever it is, of Americans don't pay those taxes, yet the wealth inequality continues to increase. And so those, while may, from an academic standpoint, be targeted for some sort of redistribution, they're completely ineffective. And when you look at it from a government standpoint, the government, since I think about 2012, has continued to take in more federal income tax every single year, yet the intra-year deficit continues to increase. And so what we have is, frankly, a very ineffective monetary system that continues to enrich the wealthy and to punish the savers, right? What you're essentially doing is you're advocating for a system where a teacher, a fireman, a police officer, a middle manager, an accountant is supposed to go to work. They're supposed to be good at their job. They're supposed to get their income. And then if they do nothing else other than their job, they will be punished. They will have the purchasing power stolen from them because of the monetary system. Instead, what we then ask those people to do is one of two things: either consume and go and spend as much as you possibly can. So don't build wealth, consume, get materialism, get more of material goods. Or two, to become a professional investor, to learn how do you take the dollars that you are paid at work and use them to get out of the dollar into investable assets. And I just fundamentally don't agree that that is the best system. And I believe that this new system is better. We're going to see kind of where we end up. But so far, the market is rendering a decisive victory on every single data point that system, that new system, is being adopted by multiple market participants. And I don't see that changing anytime soon.